So I'm left in this crazy position where I think, oh my god, I need to be a content creator and put on this super crazy foaming from the mouth, excited, giddy poggers face and throw things up in the air and scream like a banshee out of hell twerking on my chair right now. But that's not where I'm at with all this. I'm actually really nervous. As a preview of what I'm going to talk about, we are talking about Nocturnal Ast being killed, we are talking about Scholar reworks, we are talking about Sage maybe not meeting expectations, and maybe not even coming close to filling that void, and how I'm at the point of I'm very nervous about this job actions trailer because it's going to basically depict how the next 2 years of Final Fantasy XIV is going to play out for me. So this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a little while, but have failed to find the words to say what my thoughts really are on the Endwalker trailer and what it means to me with it coming up. It's like I just said in the intro, it's just like I should be like twerking on my chair in excitement. Everyone expects this. I mean, you're a content creator. You need to be excited about this. You need to do this. Oh my god. But that's not how I feel, and I just try and keep it really genuine on this channel. I actually really miss the days where content creators were genuine. I feel like everything is so sanitized, so overproduced, and so much of a performance that I miss the genuine YouTube feel, and that's something that I definitely want to do on my channel. Like, I don't want to get here on a soapbox and start spewing out BS at you, because that's not why I'm here. I am here because I love this game, because I want to interact with the community, and I feel like it does everyone a disservice if I'm like, oh my god, I'm just so excited. Throw your super chats at me and sub. Oh my god, get a black chocobo. No one wants that. My vocal cords really hurt from that. So the fact is, whenever there's a new expansion, I'm caught between hype and concern, and that's not going to change just because I started making YouTube videos a year ago. Disclaimer is much less so with Final Fantasy XIV because I truly believe our developers care, and I always say that the Final Fantasy XIV developers are the Final Fantasy XIV advantage. I love them a lot, and I really hope people understand that I mean that. Like, I don't know how to put this in a different way, so I'm just gonna say it. Like, I don't need to make content. I am not sustaining myself by making a YouTube channel. I am here because I want to be, and I want to be here because 14 is amazing. Our developers are badass, and the community really lifts me up and gives me life. Like, yeah, I am literally a scientist that has gone rogue and insane. But, and it is a massive Eddie Hall-sized but, that isn't to say with the Endwalker job trailers and media tours that I'm not, like, incredibly nervous. I love our developers, but I'm still pretty concerned. And so very relevant to this video is Scholar. I'm just going to be outright upfront about it. A Realm Reborn introduced the Summoner and the Scholar, and I was instantly hooked on it because I like pet classes. There's a whole long video that I could probably make explicitly talking on that, but the point is, it was just really fun to have that micromanagement aspect. We were juggling damage over time effects, we were juggling healing, we were micromanaging the fairy. It was so much interaction, and it was so fun to play. But when we're talking about changes from one expansion to the next, I feel this so keenly as a Scholar main, where Scholar has changed so significantly from expansion to expansion. We are so far from that initial A Realm Reborn juggling multiple damage over time effects Scholar with the cleric stance, with the macroing fairies. Heck, I mean, even if you are looking, and I know a lot of people make this argument like healers should heal, but even if you pull up FF logs, you are going to look, even in Savage raiding, we're not talking about easier content like normal raids, we're not talking about things like even Delirium raid in a normal, which arguably is far easier than a Savage raid. We are not talking about Expert Roulette. You are still, as a healer in those forms of content, doing so much DPS rotation that you are going to feel something like Scholar's kit went and changed a lot, and now it's literally 1 1 1 1 1. Oh, 30 seconds passed, applied by Elisis 1 1 1 1 1. It's lost a lot through the course of the years. You can also say the same from multiple angles for some jobs like the Bard, where you have some people that really love the Heaven's Word quote-unquote bow mage bard. You had people that really hated it, and so we were left at an impasse where it's like, okay, Bard got changed to this and then away from it, and this left some people feeling in a very similar way. And y'all, like, I read the comments of my videos, and when I did my bow mage video, there was so many people saying they love bow mage, and I am definitely one to say, yeah, there's a lot of people that loved it, and so I can only imagine how they felt with that loss. But to flip it on the other side of its head, all change doesn't need to be negative. We saw incredible changes with the Machinist and with the Summoner. This expansion, Machinist, was completely overhauled. It is such a different class. Like, yeah, you have have some of the same tooltips, you have some of the same themes, but largely it was completely revamped. And then Summoner has been pushed to actually feel like a summoner, rather than more like a Dot and Fester mage. I mean, yeah, we did, over the course of expansions, have Bahamut introduced, thank God for that, but it's just like, even during Heavensward, we weren't like summoning Bahamut. It's like, I remember like, there was videos about like 1 Bahamut, 2 Bahamut, 3, like, I'm just referencing like older videos from like my time when it's just like, I remember Bahamut introduced and the hype behind it. But now we have Phoenix, we have the egg eye actions, and people are just like, it's not an edgy, it's not an edge eye, I don't know. But we have those like eggy assault actions, and it's just like, that makes such a huge difference. So is all change negative? No, hell no, absolutely not. I completely am not trying to say that. But it's like, I'm not gonna bloat this video with Scholar's changes so much, because I already kind of went over them. But it's just like the fairy macros, I feel that so keenly. It's just like, I never needed to tether the fairy to tank before, because it's like I could always aim the fairy at the tank. But instead we have like Seraph, instead of spamming that onto the tank, which is what I want it to do a lot of the time, I have it instead like putting the shield on little DPS, and I'm just like, stop this. Or like, even take Celine, which we completely lost, and even in her last kit's iteration where she had a silence and an AoE Asuna, which arguably is not the most useful things, I get it, she used to be much more useful when she could give AoE buffs, but even then people will be like, oh, that's a micro optimization, it wasn't that good. I get it, but she could have been reworked to be better. But even taking her last kits with the silence, that, if that was an interrupt, would have saved me so much pain in Savage. Like, you have so many interrupts, you need to interrupt the Earth and Aether, you need to E1S, even the first E1S, literally the E1S, you need to have both of those ads interrupted. Like, that would have been useful. Or for Shiva Savage, you need to do those cleanses, you need the 2 debuffs cleansed. That would have been an amazing use case for that. But we didn't have Selene anymore, so I never had that opportunity. Which, all of this combined together pushed me away from the Scholar this expansion, which led me to my alternative main, Astrologian, which, as you guys know, my healing preference is a proactive healer. I love the option to apply barriers and interact ahead of time. Not to mention their off global cooldown regen. Oh my god, that is a game changer. That is such a huge quality of life option. I love it. But even Astro received a huge, massive card rework, something that I think may have overall been more healthy than fishing for spread balance in the past that I don't necessarily miss. Like, when people bring up, oh, Cole, why are you liking this card system? You used to be fishing for balance spread. Totally agree. I think that sucked. But what I do miss was damage mitigation with the bowl card. If you cut things down to size and say, like, how to say it might not be optimal for your parse, but at the same point of time, I don't really give a damn about parses. I don't feel fulfilled if I get a 99th percentile parse. I just don't care. I want to have fun with my friends. I want to clear. And for a lot of groups who aren't like the super bleeding edge tier players, you want that mitigation at times. Like, I'm thinking about like E11S electric cycles. The other cycles are fine, but electric cycles where you need to have everyone spread, I would love a spread bowl damage mitigation there as an option, and then stack that up with Nocturnal Stacked Wheel of Fortune with a 10% reduction there. Or E12S with its Soft Enrage with the damage up stacks. It's like that first terminal relativity will not hurt that bad, but oh my god, when there's like the damage up buffs, that hurts so bad. Or even the abilities to interact with buff durations, that's completely gone from S. We used to be able to use Celestial Opposition and Time Dilation, and that was such a cool effect, really kind of giving us Time Mage vibes, and that's totally gone. Which, all of this really came together though, even in spite of those changes, to Nocturnal Ast was my favorite healer in Shadowbringers. I can definitely say that now that I've experienced the entire expansion. It's just like, the weave on Malefic was amazing, the card system to keep me engaged, the ability to be proactive was all so good. It meshed so well for me, and yet here we are. We already got confirmation that it was being quote-unquote retooled to be a pure healer, and so in essence, my favorite healer, which used to be the Scholar, which was unfortunately whacked, now my other favorite healer, which is the Noct Ast, is being whacked, and people want me to be hyped up, and I'm just not there, guys. I'm honestly pretty sad about it. And whenever I say I'm sad, I need to say, like, I'm fine in my, like, life. It's just, like, like, I mean, I I have a man that it's just like he will throw back A, that's a fat A. If you ever watch the Lil Nas X song, trust me, I'm fine. But like when I'm talking specifically in this context, I am really bummed out. It just feels like Scholar is dead. Unless there's going to be massive changes, which I didn't see a fairy during the job trailer. Like I literally searched that, or I mean the Endwalker benchmark trailer. I literally watched that trailer keenly, trying to find a Eos or a Celine or a Seraph anywhere. I didn't see it, but we do see it in the little art. But I'm wondering if now maybe the fairy's like a cooldown used on the fairy gauge, like in PvP, or was in PvP until they reworked it, and now there's no fairy at all. Which, if that happened, I don't even know if I'd ever want to play the Scholar. That might just be the final nail in the coffin. I might just be like, no, I can't do this anymore. Which really leads me down the avenue of, it feels like what I really want to play and what I enjoy the most is constantly being taken away from me, and I know the Sage is being added, guys. I know it's being added, but then I look at the Ast and I'm like, right now, what I am playing right now with the cards, with the weaves, with everything going on, I'm enjoying that. But then I look at the Sage and it just raises a whole lot of question marks. I don't know the kit. And I'm gonna say right now, it could be amazing. I could love it way more than anything. I don't know. But that's the big question, is just like, how are you feeling? And it's a mix of hype, it's a mix of kind of disappointment, because it's just like the Scholar has been whacked this expansion. The Astrologian did take a significant rework to it, but it's still my favorite healer to play. And so I'm just left at the point where now that's being killed in front of me, and I'm like, I just can't do it. I just can't be this super ball of hype. Like, am I excited to see things? No shit, of course I am. But on the other hand, it's like I'm left in a state where I'm kind of at the point where I don't know what I'm gonna do.